Hey everyone, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome to my diary. This is where I upload daily vlogs and I show you guys my life. I show you guys my workout routines, what I eat, my supplement intake, really a little bit of everything. So when I say diary of a fit girl, I mean it's literally my diary of everything. I probably share too much sometimes. So this is my transformation story. Kind of post my transformation photos here once in a while on my Instagram. I've had so many of you guys ask me how I lost the weight and what my journey was like. I wanted to kind of share a little bit about my story and like the diet that I followed and the workouts I was doing. I will start from the beginning a little bit because everything kind of transitions. First of all, I am 4'11" and a half, so I'm a very small person. I grew up in Alaska, and when I was in high school, I was having some intestinal issues with like gluten foods, so I ended up losing weight and I got down to like, I think it was like 88 pounds. I have been dangerously underweight and I have gained quite a bit of weight. I know what it feels like to have like no curves at all when you're tiny and frail and like almost like very fragile. And then I know how it feels to have a lot of weight gain. So I know how it feels to struggle with your weight because I've been there. I got down to 88 pounds and it was my first year in public school, and actually some people, getting anorexic was like a funny name, and I'd just be like, but really I was like, oh my gosh, like you can see my ribs, and I was just like not really healthy looking, you know, and it really wasn't my fault. There wasn't anything I can do about it. There's no medication to fix it. It was just that I had to like fix my diet. I've totally been made fun of for being underweight, and it's not a good feeling. Obviously I didn't love having people call me anorexic, but I remember just being like, oh man, like I wish I had a butt because I had nothing. Well, I was in college and I wanted to move to the lower 48, but I was too scared. Then I remember within 3 weeks I was cheated on by my boyfriend. I was laid off from work and I totaled my car. So there I was, no boyfriend, no job, no car. I was also dealing with a stalker at the time in Alaska. I had to go to court numerous times. There was someone that was like following me and someone that was showing up at my work and banging on the door. And it was a complete stranger, by the way. It was nobody that I knew, nobody that was like, I was like friends with or anything. It was a complete stranger, which made it a little scarier. He was arrested a time or two. I had to go to court numerous times for that, and that was also not fun. I bought a one-way ticket to San Antonio because I was like, you know what? I want to go somewhere new, somewhere adventurous where I can just like crush goals and make my dreams come true, to find adventure and really just, and for school, like I was like, oh, I wanted to go to medical school and there was one in San Antonio, so I was like, San Antonio, I went to visit once, I think I liked it, I'll go there. So moving was scary. It was definitely an experience. I learned a lot about myself because I was by myself all the time, no friends or family, and I got kind of lonely. You know, I missed my family, at a place in my life where I was just really struggling, and I wasn't always like the happiest. So I turned to food as comfort. Plus, Texas has some bomb food. Shout out to Las Palapas and Mama Margie's. Also, those $5 Little Caesars pizzas, that contributed to my weight gain. So I started gaining weight. Then I kept gaining weight. Being 4'11" and a half, every pound is a huge difference on a small person. Like if I lose like 1 or 2 pounds, you can see it. So when I'm gaining all that weight, you know, I saw it right away. And the last time I weighed myself, I was 132 pounds, which isn't bad. Like I'm saying, I'll show you guys photos. Like I didn't look terrible, but I felt terrible because of the food I was eating. I was so 132 pounds. I got on the scale and I saw it. I yelled at it a little bit because I didn't like what it said. Liar, 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 liar! And then I threw it out. I was like, I don't want to weigh myself anymore. This is stressing me out because I was starting to weigh myself every day, which is an unhealthy habit. Was I super overweight? No, I wasn't. But I was going down an unhealthy path. I was gaining weight like crazy, and I knew if I didn't do something right then, it would get out of control. I had no energy. I would sleep like 12 hours a night and wake up and feel like tired. I would wake up and feel tired after sleeping like 12 hours. So I had a lack of energy. My skin wasn't the healthiest either. It's just like I overall just didn't feel good. I initially started the whole my fitness journey because I was like, oh, I want to lose a couple pounds. But as I was eating healthier and working out, I mean, my hair, skin, nails, energy levels, overall health, like just became so much better, and I felt good. It wasn't just about like looking good, but it was about feeling good. Just like I was made fun of for being underweight, I was actually made fun of for not having a supermodel body. I was at a pool one time, so I felt really good, and I was actually told by a guy, body needs some work, like telling me that I was fat. I had been made fun of for being underweight and for having some extra squish on me, which is nothing wrong with that. So the first thing I did when I was gaining weight is I was like, I'm gonna join a gym. It was Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness or Bally's, one of those. I went like to both of them around the same time. They were both like cheap and inexpensive and I could afford it. But I went in there and I was like, oh, 2 hours of cardio every day. Yay, this is awful. I'm not doing this. So I started going to CrossFit and I started going with my friend Carlos. And they, first of all, I mean, it's really expensive when you're in college, but they were doing some like half off membership thing. So I went to that CrossFit box for a little while and I really enjoyed it. I think it was the best thing for me when I started because I didn't really know how to put my workouts together. I didn't really know much about nutrition or fitness at all. I was just like, hey, I'm gaining weight, help me. I don't do CrossFit anymore, but still love CrossFit. I have a lot of friends that compete in CrossFit, they do amazing. CrossFit was really good for me in the beginning because I had coaches telling me, hey, this is the workout you're gonna do today. And I had the support from the people in the class. So I was making friends, I was learning a lot. There was a nutritionist and a dietitian that worked out there. I was pre-med in college, so I was taking classes like anatomy and physiology, like the in-depth courses, the labs. I took science of nutrition, so those classes helped me a lot, but I was also working for a homeopathic doctor and I learned so much from him. I was also going to nutritional seminars any chance I got, any type of anything. I would soak up information and I would do my own research. And this was before social media. This was like way before social media. I've been doing this for a long time because I love it. So I was doing CrossFit, but the more I talked to the dietitian and the nutritionist and other people, the more I realized that my diet sucked. I did try the whole paleo thing. It is a diet, and to be honest, I actually really liked it. It really taught me how to eat intuitively, but I didn't do straight paleo. I did paleo, but I added in grains. So for those of you that know about the paleo diet, it's where you eat any type of meat you want. It's a caveman diet, so any type of meat, fruit, nuts, seeds, vegetables, all that, but I love my carbs. So I was like, you know, that's great and all, but I'm gonna add rice and oatmeal to that. Oh, and that's what I've been doing really ever since because it worked so well for me. And every once in a while I'll have some Greek yogurt, which is like a no-no for paleo too. I don't think they do dairy either. Stuff that is whole and natural and that the cavemen ate back in the day. So I was doing CrossFit for a while and then I started doing my own workouts as well, because some days I would go to CrossFit and we would just go crazy on legs. I'm like, you know what, my legs are tired. I really want to focus on my biceps or triceps or my back or shoulders or something else, not my legs. So I started going to my apartment gym. So I'd kind of go back and forth between CrossFit and my apartment gym. I was like, I can't do CrossFit today. I would do the apartment gym. I have lost a lot of weight going to CrossFit and doing my own programmed workouts. So at this point, I almost had a flat stomach. I was like, this close to a flat stomach. I just still had like some, you know, that's where my body likes to gain weight, is like my stomach, my lower back. So I did a 60-day cleanse. So the 60-day cleanse that I did, it was more of like a 60-day challenge cleanse of like processed foods. So Josh and I actually did it together. It's where you basically ate paleo, but I added in grains. You eat like a caveman. You eat whole and natural foods only. No dairy, no processed foods. So they came in a package, like some type of package, no alcohol, and no cheat meals. Yeah, no cheat meals. So it was really hard. I only made it to like 27 days, I think, before I caved in and out of cheat meals. Like, I'm going crazy, I need this. In that first month, I think it was like 4 weeks, I saw dramatic changes in my body. I was like, this is not my stomach. This is crazy, I can't believe this. And I wasn't like counting calories or tracking macros or doing any of that. I was really just intuitive eating, where you're listening to your body and you just eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. And that is how I got my flat stomach, basically, is doing a mixture of my own programmed workouts and CrossFit, eating paleo with grains, like eating whole and natural foods intuitively. So after that, I started, I kept up with the diet, but I would have cheat meals once a week to keep my sanity. Now I do cheat meals like more like twice a week, but in the beginning I did like no cheat meals for 4 weeks, and then I started eating cheat meals once a week until I got my flat somewhat toned stomach. There wasn't like lines on it, but it was flat and it looked great and I was super proud of it. Also, there was no drinking allowed, not even wine. So there I was fit, I looked great, but I wanted to take it to the next level. I was like, you know what? I want to do an NPC show. So I transitioned out of CrossFit and really just doing my own training to do something different. I did actually compete with CrossFit, but I was terrible at it. Like, terrible. I competed one time and this like lady in her 60s like beat me bad, and I was just like, you know what? CrossFit is not for me. So I wanted to do something that was more attainable for me and my small little self that could not deadlift like 900 pounds like these other CrossFitters. I completely crossed over and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do an NPC show. I'm gonna train myself. I'm gonna coach myself. I got this. I kind of want to get abs. And I was like, not crazy abs, but maybe just like some lines here and here, like that'd be great. I've never had abs before. I don't even know if it's possible for my body. Why not try? So I signed up for my first show and I had 11 weeks to prep, and I did it with one of my friends, and it was a really good experience. We did an 11-week prep and we prepped ourselves, coached ourselves. We probably should have gotten a coach because we walked in on show day and we were just like, what are we doing? Like, did someone glue our butts? Or I went from never having abs before to getting a legit 8-pack. Like, I had an 8-pack. And I was really proud of myself because I did it all on my own and I never starved myself. I didn't take any fat burners. I didn't take any water depletion pills. I never lost my period or anything like that. I did everything very natural, slow decrease of calories. I didn't even go that low. Started taking my carbs away, but I never took them away completely, and was never starving. If I ever felt hungry, I always ate something. I can't function if I'm hungry. I just can't. And believe it or not, I didn't do any cardio for my first show. I did like 4 cardio sessions of like 30 minutes each, and I was like, not so much. I like weight training so much more. So instead of doing straight on cardio, I would do, you know, like a plyometrics day instead. And that just, it worked out better for my body, and it was more fun for me, and I just enjoyed it more. But that was my first show, and I got an 8-pack finally, and I was super excited. I remember actually, I remember pulling up my shirt and showing Josh when I was like, oh my God, I have an 8-pack. And he was just like, whoa, that is the evolution of my body. During my journey, I have always ate intuitively. And the only time I will track my food is like for a competition, and that's just because I can't be doing this like with my food. That's great if like you're maintaining or you're trying to lose some weight, but if you're really trying to dial in and get like a legit 8-pack in a certain amount of time, you do have to track your food. Like, what I like to do is like, I will just write out my whole diet plan for 12 weeks and then I just stick to that. Of course, like if I'm eating out, I'll try to find something like similar to what I put on my meal plan versus just tracking every single thing you eat, just because I don't have the patience to scan every single time I eat something, or like look up the macros or read all the macros and figure out the math. I'm like, I did like 1 or 2 days where I tried to do the macro thing. I knew it wasn't for me because I didn't want to obsess over numbers, because I had friends too that would literally, they wouldn't even take a bite of a cookie unless they knew the macros of it because they didn't want to hinder their results, which I don't blame them. You know, everyone has like their own way of dieting, and I know a lot of people do macros and it works for them. I'm like, that is totally awesome. But I know myself, and I know that like me trying to do macros, like I'll be honest, like I'll obsess over the numbers and it won't be good for me. Like I just know that I would obsess over the numbers and I would spend too much time counting numbers and scanning things and doing that versus just eat a bite of the damn cookie. So the way that I've dieted and the way I still diet is I eat intuitively. This means you eat when you're hungry and you stop when you're full. I do eat whole and natural foods most of the time. Like here and there you'll see me eat like a Power Crunch bar, which is processed and is packaged, or you'll see me eat a protein cookie. And I don't do that a lot. So I ate when I was hungry, I stopped when I was full. I had cheat meals once a week, but during the week, if I was at work, I was a surgical assistant, and so a lot of patients would bring cookies and muffins and cakes. Yeah, I take like a bite of something. Like, I'm not gonna deprive myself. Every day? No, but like once or twice. Like I would have a legit cheat meal when I would sit there and just like indulge in a burger or like 10 wings with extra ranch. Anyway, but during the week, once or twice I'd have like a bite of a cookie or a sip of a milkshake or a glass of wine. What? Sorry, Mom. I didn't deprive myself. I had a good balance. I would limit those things in my life. I have friends that are vegan, vegetarian, that do strict paleo, that do intermittent fasting. I forget what it's called, but shout out to Nick Dompierre. He does intermittent fasting and it works for him and he loves it. And I'm like, that is awesome. Find what works for you. What works for me? intuitive eating. I've always done it and I've always loved it. It's easy. You eat when you're hungry, you stop when you're full, you listen to your body, you eat whole and natural healthy foods. And when it comes to intuitive eating, I know a lot of people have a hard time with it. They're just kind of, I'm lost. I don't know, like, what do I eat? What I do is I try to make sure that I get at least 105 grams of protein a day, or like 110, because right now I'm like 107-ish. So I'm gonna shoot for 107 grams of protein, and then the rest just goes to carbs and fats. There's some days where I'll have like super high carb, and then there's some days where I'm like, my fats are pretty high up there. My transformation story isn't crazy. I didn't lose 100 pounds. I had an unhealthy diet, and I was gaining weight like crazy. Every day that went by, I was gaining more and more weight, and I was unhealthy, you know, on the inside, low energy levels, probably malnourished because all of my food, there was no micronutrients in anything I was eating. But like I said, you know, the heaviest I saw on a scale was 132, but I did throw my scale out, and I know I did gain some more weight after that. I just don't know how much, because that was like the final straw when I saw 132 on the scale, because that means I had gained like 45 pounds. But it was when I was 88 pounds, so like I kind of needed some extra of that weight. So like probably like a good 40 pounds, because I needed that extra like 5 pounds to make me like normal. I just wanted to make this video to show you guys that I haven't always been tiny. I have not always been fit or athletic. Never played sports, unless you count the NRA. I was in the National Rifle Association, and it was a sport, just wasn't very athletic. But like I said, I just wanted to make this video to show you guys that I've had struggles just like most of you, if not all of you. Like I know how it feels to not have the patience and to just be frustrated with weight gain, to work out every day and like not see progress, especially in the beginning, or if you're in a plateau and you feel like you want to give up. My fitness journey wasn't perfect. I struggled and I had obstacles, and I was knocked down like multiple times, and I was frustrated, and sometimes I wanted to cry because I felt like I couldn't balance like this fitness and nutrition lifestyle with working 3 jobs and going to school and trying to support myself. My fitness journey wasn't easy. It wasn't like the weight just fell off. It took some time. So I couldn't afford a coach or nutritionist during my fitness journey because I was broke. It was so new to me in the beginning. I was like, am I doing this right? Am I making mistakes? I was so exhausted some days, like all I wanted to do was sleep and watch Netflix. I love Netflix too, you know. I also love donuts and wings and cake and everything that has sugar in it. I am just like you. But I realized that those treats and those delicious little things were just a short-term happiness. They made me happy for 5 minutes, but I was looking for a long-term happiness. I wanted to feel good and have good energy and not have to sleep 14 hours a day and still feel tired. I wanted to be fit and healthy. And so I guess that's the end of this story, guys. I just want to let you know that I struggled, just like most of you are struggling right now or have struggled in the past. I had obstacles, I had doubts, I had struggles, and I made mistakes. Actually, I made a lot of mistakes, but I never gave up, not even once. I took it one day at a time, so can you. Thanks for watching my story, guys.